Good evening. I'm your host, Jack Remington, the host of the Jack Remington Political Analyst channel. Today's video, we're going to talk about the Honorable Governor, Mrs. Kristi Noem of South Dakota. She just put out that book, quote, "No Going Back," end quote. Well, what in the Hades was she thinking about putting excerpts in her book that she shot that dog and then shot that goat? People made a mountain out of a molehill with this. They've run to first base. This story got so much backlash against the governor, Kristi Noem, that it put the Donald Trump kangaroo show trial on the second page. Let's just play the clip from Megyn Kelly discussing Mrs. Kristi Noem's book. Take a listen.
I'm sorry, it's over. She's not going to be the vice president. Trump is not going to pick her now. He's too smart. He wouldn't pick somebody who has managed to do the impossible and unite Democrats and Republicans alike in their anger for this woman who shot her puppy in the face. The fact that she thought this would make her look tough and become loved by the American populace shows how clueless she is. It was bad enough that she allegedly had an affair with Corey Lewandowski. Now we find out she shot her puppy in the face because the puppy was, and I quote, having the time of her life, was, quote, the picture of pure joy. And then she shot her because she ate some chickens that Kristi Noem put in front of her and didn't behave all that well out on her first trip hunting. There's something wrong with this whole thing. I don't know what's wrong with Kristi Noem, but she's not going to be the vice president, okay?
What was she thinking here? So I have a strong recommendation for you, Mrs. Kristi Noem. Any political analyst, consultant, strategist, and advisors you hired before that book was set for publication, you should fire their backsides right now. Get your husband, get your chief of staff, get them on the phone, and you tell them people you're fired. They let you down in thinking that the fickle American voters would tolerate shooting animals face value at first take. I must add my cheap shot in here now. Cheap shot warning, cheap shot warning. The fake outrage from these hypocritical abortion enthusiasts is just hilarious. So Mrs. Kristi Noem, please fire them now and then turn around and sue them. Sue their backsides into financial oblivion. See the Terry Bollea case versus Gawker, that worthless gossip website that I am glad was destroyed. Now, Terry Bollea is also known as Hulk Hogan, the WWF star. And Gawker got a hold of some sex tape where Hulk Hogan was, that line from that old Jethro Tull song, quote, "locomotive breath," end quote. Here's the lyrics of that one verse. Quote, "He sees his children jumping off at the stations one by one. His woman and his best friend in bed and having fun," end of quote. This Terry Bollea and this lady, they were both married, but not to each other. So Hulk Hogan wanted that tape removed, but Gawker, the website, they refused. So the story goes that Hulk Hogan enlisted a California billionaire venture capitalist in the name of Mr. Peter Thiel. Yes, that Mr. Peter Thiel. He's a co-sponsor of PayPal and many other successful businesses in this country, and who Gawker outed for something about a lifestyle that Mr. Thiel did not appreciate being made public. Yes, the right of privacy concerns should be of utmost respected for all citizens in this country. Mr. Thiel bought the dream team, the ultimate dream team of this battery of savage lawyers. Think the O.J. Simpson case times to the 10th power. So Gawker did not stand a chance against this dream team times 10 and was litigated into the dustbin of internet history. And in my not so humble opinion, rightfully so. So Mrs. Kristi Noem, call it Peter Thiel or call someone like him, but sue these clowns into the next century. Sue them for occupational malfeasance, occupational neglect, and outright incompetence and stupidity. These morons should have protected you and told you not to send those clips of shooting any animals at all, but they did not. This faux pas really cost you. But here's a clip of what Judge Jeanine Pirro said. Take a listen.
And so she wanted a vice signal ahead of time to try to control it because she knew that it could ruin her chances.
Well, what's interesting is she said that she shot Cricket after the book was published. She said she shot the puppy Cricket 20 years ago. But I think the whole thing reeks of desperation. I think you have a woman here who desperately wants to be vice president and ultimately president. And so she says, I can be tough like a man. How can I be tough like a man? I can kill a puppy. But, the hate that, and Dana references, she said this puppy ruined the hunt by chasing pheasants and having the time of her life.
Yes.
What I have 4 rescues, and I have a puppy. I got to tell you, what she's done is she's sabotaged herself, whether or not it was to buttress what was coming down the road, but she also managed to unite the right and the left because America, if nothing else, we are dog lovers. And don't tell me you shot a pup because it wasn't used to hunting. Maybe you're not a good teacher.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a problem. And this whole thing with the chickens, were the chickens dead? Was your dog on their property? Should you have had your dog on a leash? Should your farm have been fenced? I could go on and on because I love dogs.
Jesse, the only thing I could say on her defense is at least she didn't eat the dog like President Hussein Obama.
Right. She shot the dog. Obama ate it. What's worse?
Well, actually, shooting the dog was pretty bad.
It's true.
Yes.
Having said all that, I wish you'd fought back harder when these allegations of you having some affair with Corey Lewandowski, the Trump former campaign manager. Ignoring those serious charges also hurt you some. But if that was the first rock the left threw at you, that was just one big rock. But this bombshell of a rock you sent yourself from those farm animals and that goat and the dog you discuss in your book. My final commentary to the Honorable Governor of Mrs. Kristi Noem. You are still my favorite governor the last 5 years. Why? You were the only governor that under that mass hysteria under the COVID-19 scamdemic or plandemic, you did not have A, mask mandates, B, travel restrictions, C, closing of businesses and people losing their livelihoods, D, the vaccine requirements. You were even mocked by fellow female politicians like that smart-ass Senator Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts, another presidential wannabe. I am paraphrasing, but you said, quote, I am going to let the citizens of South Dakota determine their own healthcare needs by using common sense, end of quote. When you said that, I was on board. You went from nowhere to nothing. I didn't know anything about you to the top governor in this country, and will be so on my website coming up.
Is refusing to devastate her state's economy and ruin people's lives by imposing a lockdown. She didn't. That's obviously made her public enemy number one for the liberal media. Governor Kristi Noem joins us now. Governor, the media, they're not happy with you. They're now claiming South Dakota is becoming a COVID hotspot. You have 7 deaths in the state. Why are they coming after you?
We've got one issue in a pork processing plant in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, but outside of that, 2/3 of our state has no cases or 1 case in an entire county. So we're doing very well as a state. We are addressing the one hotspot that we do have and aggressively testing in that area. But that's it. What you talked about, Laura, is exactly right. Is we should be tracking who's in the hospital, what the death rate is, and South Dakotans are doing a fantastic job following my recommendations, and we've been able to keep our businesses open and allow people to take on some personal responsibility.
The reaction from South Dakotans on being different. I mean, there are a handful of states that Iowa, Utah, Wyoming, obviously South North Dakota, Arkansas, decided to go their own way. The blowback, though, is the media blaming you for the pork processing plant outbreak. Watch.
Smithfield Foods, now largest coronavirus hotspot in U.S. Kristi Noem has insisted that she still will not issue a stay-at-home order in her state.
Her state is home to one of the country's largest coronavirus hotspots.
The governor just lets this problem get bigger and bigger and bigger and wants to think that she can pretend it out of existence.
Governor, you're pretending this isn't happening? Is that what you're doing?
No, what they're neglecting to tell folks is that this processing plant is critical infrastructure. Regardless of a shelter-in-place order or not, it would have been up and running because it's an important part of our nation's food supply. So that's what's been happening on the national level is they've been not telling all the facts behind this. The people of South Dakota can be trusted to make good decisions. We have common sense. That's why people want to live here, and that's why I love living here.
Governor Noem, are you surprised that so many states that are quite populous, as a matter of just percentages, have done really well in this battle with the coronavirus? I mean, they were predicting, potentially 2 million people dead. The hospital system was going to be overwhelmed. Didn't really come close. New York bent their system. New Jersey very stressed, but I heard that Governor Louisiana saying we're doing pretty well. We're going in the right direction, and we didn't collapse our system.
Yeah, I think it does make a big difference how seriously people take it, how you communicate with them. I know when I gave our folks the guidelines in South Dakota about what we needed to do to flatten our curve, they followed. They took that seriously, and we've bent our curve by 75% in South Dakota. We've had a dramatic impact on the slowing down of the spread, and we'll be able to handle it with a capacity in our healthcare systems, and it's all because of decisions that the people made and the fact that we work together to do that. I think that's what's been unique in South Dakota, and we've probably seen that in other states as well.
Yeah, I mean, folks at MSNBC morning shows saying that you were the way they're doing it is like you're too casual about it. When I mean, governors are supposed to listen to their people and be pragmatic because you're balancing rights, civil rights, and health. So that's the balance: rights and livelihood versus a virus that is very tough.
Yeah.
It's amazing they're treating you guys like pariahs.
They are, and I had a real honest conversation with the people in our state. I told them I took an oath to uphold the Constitution of our state, of South Dakota. I took an oath when I was in Congress, obviously, to uphold the Constitution of the United States. I believe in our freedoms and liberties. What I've seen across the country is so many people give up their liberties for just a little bit of security, and they don't have to do that. If a leader will take too much power in a time of crisis, that is how we lose our country. So I've felt like I've had to use every single opportunity to talk about why we slow things down. We make decisions based on science and facts, and make sure that we're not letting emotion grab a hold of the situation.
Liberty, freedom, and our inalienable rights, and balancing health. That's really important. Governor, thank you so much.
So, Mrs. Kristi Noem, I'm not going to abandon you because of that book, because of this faux pas. I'm not going to abandon you because you're not going to be the vice president of the United States under Donald Trump. I still support you during your governorship of South Dakota and wish you well no matter what. I don't care about that Corey Lewandowski garbage, even if it is true. It's none of my business how you conduct your personal life as South Dakota governor. Okay, it's none of my business as no one else's business. That's between you and your husband. The vice president's position and the president of the United States position is a different story, and that is a different video for a different day. But today's video, I'm stating that I am a very loyal person, and I will stay loyal to you, just like I am loyal to Donald John Trump. Loyalty counts in this cold, cold world. You have done an outstanding job as the governor of South Dakota, and I wish you nothing but the best, and still respect you with respect you have worked so hard to earn. Always a great day to be an American. Trump 2024. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.